Hello everyone, I hope you're all having a fabulous Monday. Today I'm coming to the weekly Minks Monday Q&A. Before we get started, let me share the bag that I'm currently rocking, and that is the Louis Vuitton Neverfull MM in the monogram canvas. Alright, so grab your coffee, grab your tea, let's start your workouts, go to work, it's laundry, whatever you're doing, come join me. We have some awesome topics to cover today. Alright, so I thought that for this week we would try something a little bit different because I wasn't on here last week, but I've been getting a lot of questions on Louis Vuitton's newest releases. So I thought it would be a great way to be able to talk about all of them, share some awesome eye candy, and then afterwards jump into the rest of the questions. All right, so let's begin with the Louis Vuitton Nice Mini. This beauty comes in at $725 here in the States, and what can I say? I absolutely love it. I mean, it's a smaller version of the Nice BB, which the Nice BB is a smaller version of the Nice, and I think it's great. It's small, but it still packs a punch, and I also think it's great if you are going to be using it in your carry-on and you are limited on space. That way you have a little bit more play with the other items that you need to carry with you, because I do believe that it's roughly under a 2-inch difference. Don't quote me on it, but right around there. So I feel like some people might think that that's not a big deal, but it could definitely be the difference between bringing an extra article of clothing or anything else that you need to carry with you on your carry-on, or in your carry-on, I should say. So I am a big fan. I think it is just absolutely adorable. And I also think it has a pretty good price point, you know, and one thing to note is that with the Nice BB, if you have all of your items down at the bottom, there's still, if you don't end up packing it to the brim, there's still a pretty good like 2, maybe 3-inch difference that doesn't have anything inside. So I think that with this one, you're really utilizing all of the space that's given because you don't have that extra space that doesn't have anything. You know, I don't know if that makes any sense, but either way, I think it is an awesome bag. All right, so let's move on to the Alma BB in the Empreinte version. This beauty retails for $1,960 here in the States. It's available in 3 different colors. You can either go for black, cream, and the other one is called Cherry Berry. It is this beautiful rich red, and the varnish is blue, hence the name Berry. But think of it kind of like a reverse Marine Rouge. That's the best way that I can describe it. Now, there are so many things that I love about this bag. As many of you know, I'm a huge fan of the Alma BB. I think it is a great bag, and I'm so happy that Louis Vuitton decided to make this in the Empreinte version. Now, one of the things that I absolutely love about this style is the fact that it does have a wider strap, wider than the canvas version. Because with the wider strap, I think that it's going to be that much more comfortable for extended periods of time. Whether you were to use it on your shoulder or crossbody, I think that it's going to be a lot more comfortable. You don't have to worry that it's necessarily going to be digging into your skin if you were to carry a little bit more with you. So I think that's an awesome thing that they decided to do. Another thing is that because it is in the Empreinte version, I feel that it's going to be a lot more flexible. Just because you do have that beautiful leather, it's not going to be as stiff. Because the canvas version, when you first get it, it can seem a little bit restricting, the opening, and as you use it, it starts to get a little bit more relaxed, but I definitely don't feel it will be as relaxed as the Empreinte version, because the Empreinte version, you have a little bit more play with that leather. So I think it's gonna make it that much more generous, that much easier to see all of your items at a glance. So that leather will end up softening up as time goes by, and I think it will be awesome. Another thing is the fact that it is the Empreinte leather, because it makes it so much more carefree. You can pretty much use it in any type of weather. You don't have to worry about rain, you don't have to worry about snow or anything like that. So I think it's awesome that they once again introduced this leather for this beautiful silhouette. Now, there are some things on this bag that I'm personally not too fond of. The first one being the folded corners. I don't know, but I feel like the folded corners might end up wearing a little bit faster just because of the silhouette and how it ends up being as time goes by anyways. I feel that the folded corners might end up showing that wear a lot faster. It kind of reminds me of the cosmetic pouch and the ones that I used to have. Currently, I just have the multicolor one, but with those, the corners always ended up wearing the fastest. So that's just one thing that ends up sticking out. Of course, we don't know because these bags are very new, so only time will tell, but That's one of the things that I thought of. Another thing that I'm personally not too fond of is the fact that you do have a little bit of a thicker base around the bottom of the bag. You know, where the monogram empreinte starts and then you just have the empreinte. It is a little bit taller than the canvas version. So I don't know, it just seems like it seems a little bit off. Maybe it's just the fact that I have to get used to it, but it does kind of stick out to me. And one other thing that I really wish that they would have incorporated into this design is if they would have made it an adjustable strap, because as I said before, with the Alma BB, I think it's a great bag, but if it did have the adjustable strap, it would make it that much more user-friendly. It would definitely be a game changer. So I was really hoping that they would implement that into the design, but still, I cannot deny the fact that this is a beautiful, beautiful bag. And once again, I am so happy that Louis Vuitton decided to introduce this bag with this beautiful leather because it offers so incredibly much. So I am a big, big fan, and that cherry berry is just, it is just insanely, insanely gorgeous. All right, so now let's move on to another Alma BB that has been getting a ton of buzz, and that is in the Champagne Vernis with the monogram canvas. This bag retails for $1,860 here in the States, and I absolutely, absolutely love it. It's busy, but it's like the perfect kind of busy. You know what I mean? I feel like it just adds that much more personality to the handbag, you know? And personally, I have had Vernis pieces in the past. They didn't always end up working out for me, but there is just something about this combination that just totally makes my heart sing. I love the fact that you do have a black leather removable strap, because I think that it gives it a nice little not pop of color. It gives it a little bit more character, but then it also works without the black leather strap, because you do have the beautiful monogram canvas and that stunning champagne vernis. I mean, I think it's an awesome combination. I would have never thought to put them together, but I think that they look incredible, especially when you add in that beautiful gold tone hardware. I think it is absolutely, absolutely amazing. Now, one of the things that I particularly like about this design is the fact that they did end up adding the monogram canvas to where the Alma BB ends up wearing the fastest, which ends up being the corners and the handles, because the handles always end up showing a little bit more wear and tear, as do the corners, just because, you know, it ends up rubbing either on an abrasive surface or whatever the case may be. But the fact that I feel that the canvas makes it that much more carefree on those areas, I think is awesome, you know. And also you can end up using it in any type of weather, because with patent leather, we all know you can use it in the snow, you can use it in the rain, you can use it in the sun, what have you. So it makes it that much more carefree. You don't have to worry that you're gonna get any type of water stains or anything like that. But they also did incorporate the black leather strap. So again, it makes it that much more carefree. So I think that this bag is insanely gorgeous. And even though I do find it a little bit busy, as I said previously, it's busy in just the right spots, and it just gives it that much more character. So I know some of you have asked me if this is something that I think will end up being extremely popular. Absolutely, I do. I actually believe that this bag is already sold out, but I think it's one of those pieces that just, it's very unique. It's very unique. I know some people aren't a fan of it, but I definitely am. All right, so now let's move on to the Ivy. The Ivy retails for $1,940 here in the States, and it's pretty much a revamped version of the Bel Air, of the vintage Bel Air. The Bel Air was very popular in the 90s, and of course it's a little bit bigger. Actually, let me insert a picture of the Ivy and the Bel Air side by side. As you can see, the Bel Air is essentially the big sister of the Ivy. But I think that this bag is beautiful. I remember when I first saw pictures from the runway, I was like, oh my gosh, this bag is gorgeous, this bag is gorgeous. So some of the things that I really like about this is the fact that it does come with a removable adjustable strap, because once again, it makes it that much more user-friendly. Another thing that I absolutely love about this bag is the fact that they kept the leather trim that the Bel Air had instead of using any type of varnish. Because with the varnish, as many of us know, with some of the designs that Louis Vuitton has had with their handbags, the varnish ends up cracking very, very easily. So with the leather, it's a lot more forgiving. You have a little bit more play and you don't have to worry that it's going to crack as easily as I said before, as the varnish does. So I think it was really smart because I think it'll end up wearing a lot better as time goes by. So I think that's wonderful. Now there are some things that I'm personally not too fond of when it comes to this bag. The first one being the buckled closure. I know that the Bel Air also had it, but I just find it to be a little bit fussy. I think that it would have been a little bit better, in my opinion, if they would have had a snap button closure, because a snap button closure, it's a lot easier to get in and out of, you know? So I think that with the buckle, yes, it makes it that much more secure. You don't have to worry that someone's going to easily pop open the bag and get into your items, which I think is great because it does end up giving you that peace of mind. But as far as on the daily getting in and out of it, it might be a little bit fussy. Again, just for my personal preference. Now this bag is a little bit on the small side. When I first saw it, I thought it was going to be a lot larger, but it's a little bit on the small side. If I'm not mistaken, it is 9.25 inches in length. Even though it's small, I still feel that it does end up packing a punch because it does have a unique design as well, so you can still end up carrying all of your essentials in there. And again, the fact that you do have a removable adjustable strap with the leather trim, I think is awesome. So I think that this bag is insanely beautiful. It does remind me of the Pochette Metis a little bit, but again, the fact that it does have the leather trim, I think is absolutely amazing for wear and tear, you know, for the future. All right, so now let's move on to, I actually wrote everything down because I didn't want to leave anything out. Let's move on to the Moon backpack. The Moon backpack retails for $24.90 here in the States, and I do appreciate so many different aspects about it. I love the fact that it does have the adjustable straps. You also have multiple ways of being able to carry it. You can use it on your shoulder, you can use it as a backpack, or you can kind of hand carry it as well, so I think that's great. I also think that it does have a generous opening, so that way you can see all of your items, and I think that because of that same opening, it makes it a little bit easier to get in and out of your items as well. Now, personally, this bag isn't for me, and even though I do appreciate so many different aspects about it, I don't know if it's necessarily the dome shape that I'm not really digging. I kind of feel like it's missing something. I just can't put my finger on it, you know. And the leather tab also has a newer logo, and I don't know how I feel about it. I kind of like it. There's also another part of me that feels that it kind of has to grow on me because it does have a very 80s vibe to it. Of course, I love everything associated with the 80s, you know, but I don't know. I don't know if it's one of those things that, like I said before, has to grow on me, and then maybe in a couple months time I'll be like, oh my god, I absolutely love it. So I have no idea, but like I said, I think that this bag does offer so incredibly much, it's just not for me. Now, the last bag that I want to talk about is the revamped version of the Palm Springs Mini backpack. I've been getting so many questions on the revamped version of the Palm Springs Mini, and the biggest difference that you will notice between the one that I have and the newer one is the fact that you do have an exposed zipper, which I think is absolutely fabulous. That is one of the smartest things that I think that Louis Vuitton could have done with this bag, because I've said it before, with this zipper, it can be very fussy. It can be a pain in the butt to get in and out of it. So by it having an exposed zipper, it's that much smoother. It's that much easier to get in and out of it, and you still have the security of a zipper, you know? So I think it is absolutely fantastic that they added that feature to this bag. I really wish that Louis Vuitton would have changed the zipper as well, because I have the feeling that most people that have this bag, this is just an assumption, most people that have this bag don't really use this pocket just because it is a little bit fussier. So if it did end up having the exposed zipper, I think it would have made it that much more user-friendly. You know, I know that if this was a lot easier to get in and out of, I would be putting my car keys in there, I would be putting maybe some lip glosses or something that I can easily get to, but for the most part, I kind of ignore it just because it's not the easiest to get in and out of, you know? But again, the fact that they did end up having the exposed zipper on the mate compartment, I think is absolutely incredible, absolutely wonderful, because you don't have to sit there sometimes and just kind of drag the zipper and try to open it up. I know that might be a little bit extreme, but that's happened to me before, and it sometimes it frustrates me till no end. But I did have someone ask if If I see myself selling this and getting the new one, I don't foresee that happening, even though this drives me nuts. I absolutely love this bag. So no, I don't think that's gonna happen. But if you are on the fence about getting the Palm Springs Mini, and maybe you weren't a fan of this zipper before, I think that the new version is just absolutely incredible. But I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on any of the new bags that we discussed. Did you guys pick any of them up? What do you think? Let us know in the comment section down below. All right, so now let's jump into the questions. First question from Catherine of Sweden. What do you think of the Chanel Classic Flat bags in terms of usability? They're everywhere on social media as a holy grail bag, but nearly all the same people I watch who own them say that they barely use them for a few months later. They admire them from a shelf as an investment piece. I really can't see myself getting one because of that reason and wonder if I'm alone on that impression. This is an awesome question, and I did bring out my medium large so we have even more eye candy. This is in the black caviar leather with the silver hardware. Now, I personally feel that when it comes to Chanel Classic Flaps, they are very easy to incorporate into any lifestyle. And as many of you know, I am a very casual dresser. I don't dress to the nines. I almost always wear a t-shirt and jeans with sneakers, and I love to use the classic flaps, you know, but it's definitely a matter of personal preference. I will also have to say that it doesn't matter to me if it has silver hardware or gold hardware. I feel that they are both very easy to incorporate into your wardrobe just because they are very easy to dress up and dress down. I know some people disagree with that, but you know, it's all a matter of how you feel when you end up using that bag. And I think that these are beautiful. This is still one of my most used handbags in my collection. Of course, now that I have the reissue, I do find myself using that one quite a bit, but still this one is one of my forever bags, and I think it is incredible, you know? And as far as having handbags sit on shelves, that is definitely personal preference because I have done that before and it didn't always end up working out for me. I have had a ton of bumps along the way because in the past I would always put handbags in these bubbles and I would be so worried that something would happen to them. I didn't want to use them for, you know, for this reason or for that reason, and I would use them maybe a handful of times, if that, you know, and it ended up being one of those bags that I would admire from afar. And in my eyes, I feel that handbags are to be used, they're to be enjoyed, you know, but then again, I don't have the economic possibility to just buy handbags and let them sit on my shelf unused for long periods of time. Because like I said before, I've done that in the past. It didn't always end up working out, and I have learned some very expensive lessons along the way when it came to that, you know, but I also don't see handbags as investment pieces. And I'm not saying that these bags don't go up in value because of course with price increases that also affects the pre-loved market and everything else that goes along with it. It's kind of like a trickle effect. And I'm not saying that by any means whatsoever, but just in general, I don't personally see them as an investment piece. You know, it's all a matter, once again, of how you feel. You know, some people want to be able to save the handbag and use it for a very special occasion, and I think that's great, but I absolutely love incorporating it into my daily lifestyle, whether that's going to an event, whether that's going grocery shopping, and I end up using this bag, you know? So I don't know, that's just the way that I see it, but I would love to hear your guys' thoughts. What do you think? Do you feel that a lot of people just end up buying the classic flat just because it is a holy grail, and it's, you know, some people might think that it's one of the bags that you have to have in your collection? Remember, I don't think that you have to have any bag to make it a collection. A collection can be considered 2 bags, it can be considered 200 bags. You know, it's all a matter of how you feel with your, you know, with the bags that you own. But what do you guys think? Do you feel that it's, do you think that it's overrated? Let us know in the comment section down below. But if the bag speaks to you, if it makes you happy, if you know that it's something that you're going to use, then by all means, I would end up going for it. But I don't know if this ends up helping you out, but I wish you the best of luck in deciding. But fabulous question. Next question from Lynn Tran. Hopefully I said that correctly. After the recall of the Pochette Metis made from 2013 to 2018, do you think it's safe to buy a brand new bag now? Have you heard any issues about the bags produced this year? I have seen a lot of people sell their 2 to 3 year old Pochette Metis with cracked canvas and was told that I can bring the bag to a boutique to exchange it for a new one. Is this true? I don't want to risk buying it and not being able to get an exchange. All right, so I've actually heard both. I've heard people had great success with being able to bring their bags into the boutique that didn't have any wear, that didn't have any cracked canvas, and they were able to exchange it for another one or for a different handbag. I've also heard other people say that they ended up taking their bags into the boutique that did have cracked canvas, and Louis Vuitton didn't end up doing anything. So what I would recommend doing, I feel that it's always better to be safe than sorry, just to go into the boutique, talk to your sales associate, and see what kind of options you have, because as we all know, it pretty much ends up being a case-by-case scenario, and I don't want to give you misinformation. I don't want to tell you that yes, they're going to end up doing it, just to find out that that's not what ends up happening. So again, I would definitely recommend going into the boutique to see what they end up saying. And I've actually seen some threads about the new Pochette Metis that have been produced this year, and so far nobody has said anything about them having issues with the way that they're wearing. If anything, I've heard people say that they find that the varnish is a lot thicker. They find that it ends up wearing a lot better than their previous Pochette Metises, which I think is absolutely wonderful news, you know, because some of these people have also had either 2 or 3 Pochette Metises, and they ended up experiencing wear and tear a lot faster in certain areas, and with their new ones they're like, no, so far everything's wearing the way that it should. So do I personally feel that it's safe to buy a bag now? I mean, I would hope so, because they have gone through a few different variations of this bag, and I feel like they have to get it right by now, right? I mean, I feel so bad saying it just because I am such a huge fan of the Pochette Metis. You guys know that. I did end up having 2 of them. The second one I had for a few more years. Unfortunately, mine had the cracked canvas, and instead of going for another one, I decided to go for the Clooney BB, you know, but that bag definitely still holds a special place in my heart. But I feel like by now they should know like what works, what doesn't work, or how they can revamp it to make it better, so that way people don't have to worry about, you know, it having cracked canvas within a couple of weeks, within a couple of months, or anything like that, you know. So of course only time will tell, but so far everything points to yes, everything's going great, it's a step in the right direction, you know. But once again, I don't want to sit here and say yeah, absolutely no problem, and then watch something happen, you know. So fingers crossed that they got it right, because it is a beautiful, beautiful bag. But once again, I highly recommend going into the boutique, see what they end up saying, because as you said, the last thing that you want is to buy it and then not be able to exchange it, you know. But for the most part, I feel that Louis Vuitton, is taking care of the whole situation with the Pochette Metis. I feel like, I think it's great that they are offering the, you know, an exchange for a bag that doesn't have any problems. That way, in a way, it's almost like they're remedying the situation before it becomes a problem. And I really feel that that's the way that it should be for everybody that has this bag, you know. But I don't know if this ends up helping out. Good luck. Hopefully you get some awesome news as far as you know, what ends up happening with your Pochette Metis. But I am curious, for any of you that do have this bag that was produced this year, how do you find it? Have you had any issues? Have you noticed any of the same patterns that the old ones had? Let us know in the comment section down below. The more information, the better. But once again, good luck. And the last question from Mimi Stern. Just bought my first designer bag, the Chanel Trendy in the camel color. Since it's lambskin and has no feet at the bottom, how do I ensure it stays in perfect condition for many years? Well, first and foremost, major congratulations on your Chanel Trendy. That is such a beautiful bag and awesome color choice as well. And as far as wanting to ensure that it stays looking as fabulous as possible for as long as possible, I would just be careful as far as not setting it on any abrasive surface or anything like that. And also when it comes to the camel color, even though it is gorgeous, sometimes it does end up picking up darker colors a little bit easier. So I would just be mindful as far as dark colored clothing goes. But other than that, I mean, you are good to go. And of course, not using it in the rain or in the snow or anything like that. But when it comes to lambskin leather, in the past, I always felt that it was very delicate. I didn't want anything to happen to it type of thing. But now that I have a few lambskin pieces, it actually ends up being a lot more durable than I ever gave it credit, because I always felt that, oh my gosh, something's going to happen. I'm going to scratch it. I'm gonna scratch it. And even if it does end up scratching, it's very, very easy to buff them out with your fingertips and it ends up going away. You know, some people do end up using conditioner. I personally don't, but I know that even the boutiques recommend using conditioner so that way the leather doesn't end up drying out or anything like that. But major, major congratulations. That is such a beautiful bag. And I am curious for those of you that do have lambskin handbags, because I do have the minis and those don't have feet either, but at the same time, it's not a larger handbag. But for those of you that do have the larger lambskin bags, how do you end up caring for them? How do you ensure that they end up looking fantastic for years to come? Let us know in the comment section down below. But once again, congratulations, and hopefully I was able to help. All right, you guys, so that does it for Minks Monday Q&A. I hope that you enjoyed it. You guys had some awesome questions, and my sincere apologies for not being on here last week. November is not being kind to me, which I kind of already knew. We talked about it briefly at the end of October, but yeah, it came full force. So to be completely honest with you, I don't know how the rest of the month is going to go. And I feel so incredibly bad because I know that a lot of you guys do look forward to Minks Monday. It's one of my favorite videos, but I don't want to tell you guys, oh, I'll be on here and then I won't be on there. You know, I don't want to disappoint you. So for the remainder of the month, I'm just going to come on here whenever I get a chance, and I will definitely try my hardest to come on here because I do like talking about, you know, what we talk about. It's fun. It's like sitting down with friends and we're drinking coffee or we're drinking, you know, we're drinking wine. I know some of you guys drink wine when you watch these. But anyways, again, my sincere apologies for not being able to come on here. Hopefully we're able to get everything smoothed out so that way my schedule can resume. But all I ask is that you please bear with me because I'm definitely trying my hardest to not have it interrupt our discussions. You know what I'm saying? But again, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, make sure and give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already and you would like to, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'll see you guys later. And as always, make it a fabulous day or not, the choice is yours. Have a great day.